What's up everyone, this is Asadullah Chaudhary, and in this tutorial I'm gonna give you a brief introduction about AJAX. The word AJAX is just an acronym which stands for Asynchronous JavaScript and XML. It's not a programming language, it's just a methodology, or you can say it's just a technique to develop dynamic websites. So if you are a web developer and if you did not know about AJAX, so you can say I know some server-side languages and I can still develop dynamic websites, which is absolutely correct. You can develop websites, but with the help of Ajax, it gives you the control to update the specific part of the page. This is what you cannot do without using it. There are big websites which are using Ajax like Google, Gmail, YouTube, and Yahoo, etc. I think I should show you the live example of Google. Google.com. This is Google search engine, as you know, and this is the input box where I have to type the search query. I'm going to type cat. It's a live search and you can see the search suggestions. The first one is cat, cat videos, cat pictures, and cat games. This data is coming from database. As you have noticed, the page did not refresh and the Ajax is interacting with the database behind the scenes, which is pretty cool. So if you have a page and if you don't want your entire page to be refreshed, so you can use Ajax. Okay, so now let me go back to my text editor to do a little example for you. Okay, so I'm using Sublime Text Editor 3. I have to create my first file. So before creating a first file, as usual, I have to put my files inside some directory. Directory name would be ajax ajax.english and the file name will be index.php. I need some other files. The next file will be data.php. Another file. This time it's going to be my JavaScript file. So I would like to put my JavaScript file inside public and then JS folder. Public JS and the file name is script.js. I think I should code a little search engine for you. Okay, let's get started. This is my basic markup, meta charset UTF-8. This is character encoding. I'm assuming you already know about this character encoding, and the title is going to be Ajax tutorial. Now I have to include the reference of JavaScript file. The JavaScript file is inside public JS and script.js. So before watching this video lesson, you should know about HTML and JavaScript. You should have the basic understanding of HTML JavaScript. Otherwise, you won't be able to get anything. Okay, so since I'm going to make a little search engine, so I'm gonna put an input box over here. Input type text. id search and or search dash box placeholder is type something. I'm gonna put couple of break tags. Age to the heading tag. AJAX results, and then a div tag that will be showing the results. Result. Waiting for response. The resultant data will be displayed over here where I typed waiting for response. Okay, so now I have to check if my server is running or not. I'm using XAMPP, and Apache and MySQL modules are running right now. So now I have to open it up in my browser. For this, I have to type localhost and directory name, which I just created to put my files inside. And the directory name was ajax.english. Ajax dash dot dash English. So so far the page looks like this. I'm not gonna style this page. Okay. So I'm moving to my JavaScript file. So first I have to get the reference of this input box. Input box document dot get element by id, and the id was this one, search dash box. Okay, so now I have to attach an event with this input box dot on key up function. Okay, so now as soon as I'll type something in the input box, this property, the on key up, it's a property, it's an event, this will be triggered and this function will be called each time. Okay, so let's check this out into the browser if it's working or not. Input box dot value. What value? The value of the input box, whatever I'll type. Okay, so refresh. If I type something, let's suppose A, so it's working. Excellent. If I type B, you can see the concatenated result AB. This is what I wanted. Okay, so now it's time to start writing the AJAX code. First, I will declare a variable. I'm gonna name it whatever, HTTP equals to null. I just declared and initialized this variable with null. Now it's time to make an object of AJAX. So the first if statement will check what type of browser I'm using. Window dot HTTP HTTP request. This if statement will return true if I'm using Google Chrome, Mozilla Firefox, Safari, Opera, or Internet Explorer, which has a version greater than 8. Sorry. So it's time to create the object over here. HTTP new XML HTTP request. So this check is for Safari, Chrome, Firefox, Opera, Internet Explorer greater than 8. If I'm not using any of the above browser, then for Internet Explorer 5 or 6, the object would be created this way. ActiveX object. Microsoft XML HTTP. You don't need to understand XML in order to learn AJAX. All right. So far I written some if-else statements for object creation, and you can put this code inside some function and uh, make it better. So since it's just a simple tutorial, so I'm not gonna complex this code. I would like to keep it as simple as possible. Okay, so the on line number 15, http dot on ready state change. On ready state change, it's another event. Whenever the server changes its state, this event is triggered and this function will be called. All right, so in if condition, I'm going to check http dot ready state equal to 4 and http dot status equals to 200. So what is 4 and 200 over here? These are the codes. This code, uh, the digit 4, belongs to the ready state. So if you get confused, so I'm gonna show you on W3 schools. So in my absence, if you get stuck anywhere, so you can go to W3 schools and you can check out what's going on and what you are using. W3 schools, AJAX events. So these are the codes. 00 means request not initialized. 1 means server connection established. 2 means request received. 3 means processing request. 4 means request finished and response is ready. Now come to the status part. 200 means okay. The status is okay. And 404 means page not found. I believe you've seen this error before. If you dial a wrong URL, or if you dial a URL that if you dial a URL with the wrong page name, so this error will be displayed in the browser. All right, so now let's go back to my text editor. Okay, so now I'm going to target the result div get element by id result dot inner html equals to http response text. So you can see over here http response text. It's another property related to this object, and it means I'm gonna get the response in the form of a string of characters. So it's an option for me. Okay, so now I have to open connection http dot open. This function expects three parameters. The first one is going to be the request, http request. So I'm going to use get. The second parameter is going to be the URL where I want to send request. So my URL is data.php. The third parameter is used to set your script asynchronous or synchronous. So right now I'm going to set it to synchronous, sorry, asynchronous. So in order to set it to asynchronous, I have to type true over here, the boolean variable value. http dot send null. So with the combination of get request, you will write null over here, or you can leave it empty. Up to you. Okay. So now I'm gonna send some test data just to make sure if it's working or not. Question mark. V is just a variable. I'm just appending variable and data in the URL. Test data. Okay, so this V means if I write PHP code over here, so dollar underscore get. This V means this index in the get array of PHP. So I hope you get this correctly. Alright, so now let's go to data.php. I have to write some if else statements. So the first if statement will check if I'm gonna use request instead. If if request has a has an index v which is set and not empty, dollar underscore request v. So so the first function is set checks if this index was set, and the next in the next function which is empty, this returns true if this index will not be defined. The else part, echo please send some data. Okay, so for just testing purposes, let me check if it's working or not. Server says dollar underscore request and the index name is v. So let's try this in a browser. If I type something over here, let's suppose a, it's not working. Inspect element. Uncaught reference is not defined on line number 22. Null shouldn't be in uppercase. It should be in lowercase. Refresh. If I press A or whatever, you can say server says test data. Perfect. This is what I wanted. Okay, so let me type some database code over here. Or I think I should go and get the code from somewhere else. Actually, I did this same video lesson in other language in Urdu. So just to save the time, I'm just gonna get grab that piece of code and paste it over here. Here's the code. Copy and paste. It's a complete code actually. I have already explained you this if statement and the else part. So right now you can see I'm not using the else part. Okay. So line number 5, I'm connecting with database. Line number 6, I'm checking if the connection was established or not. In case of any error, the execution will be exited. On line number 8, I'm grabbing the value and putting that value to a in a PHP variable. On line number 10, I'm writing a query. On line number 12, I'm querying database. On line number 14, I'm just checking if the number of rows are greater than 0, means if I found some result. So whatever was the result, I'm gonna display that result over here using a while loop. That's it. And if anything doesn't matches, then this part will be displayed. Nothing matched with your query. Okay, so now let's check this out in our browser. Refresh. If I type A, nothing matched with your query. I think something went wrong. Request and not empty. It should work. Let me check if it's working or not. Ah, it's my mistake. It's really embarrassing. I'm sending this data. So now it's time to grab the value of input box and send it to get the data. I'm going to remove this. I'm just going to concatenate input box dot value. Now this is perfect. If I refresh the page, if I type A, you can see the result has been displayed. So all the countries which has the first character A. If I type B over here, so these are the countries started with B. All right, so we have already checked the get request. So now it's time to go to the post request. I'm gonna comment these lines just to save the time. I'm gonna copy this code from other example. So here I'm using the post request, the same URL and input box. Everything is fine. So you can see line number 12 over here. So what does it mean? I'm just setting the header over here and the content type is application x-www.forum.form URL encode. So if you already about get request or post request, so it is pretty simple. So this data using the post request, the data will be sent with the data will be inserted into the post request. And if someone is using the get request, the data will be concatenated in the URL. So this is the main difference. So if you still get confused, you can come to me and I'll help you out. Okay, so now let's try this one more time. Refresh. If I type A, countries with the name A, with the letter A. If I type J, these are the countries which has the first character J. If I type I, so the code is working perfectly fine. So it is pretty simple. So I hope you get the basic idea how to use Ajax, and I'll try to make some more videos as well. So thank you very much for watching, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Take care. Bye bye.